So what is up, everybody? Welcome once again to my YouTube channel, and today let's continue with our series of league racing. We are now for another round of the CRO Racing League, as we are in Barcelona, Catalunya for the Spanish Grand Prix after a pretty eventful Russian Grand Prix at the Sochi Autodrome. It didn't turn out quite as we were expecting, but if you haven't checked it out, go watch it. I may leave an annotation to be easier for you to access it, as we now prepare to post our flying lap of this qualifying session. We already posted one, but this one is going to be faster, so I'm going to show how it went as we go down the main straight, on one of the longest main straights on the F1 calendar, as we look for the 100-meter board to brake for turn 1, as turn 2 comes rapidly at you and you need to open the trajectory so you can entry on the turn 3 as fast as you can, as you feed the throttle on the car as you approach turn 4. I missed the apex, but I tried to run the outside line to try to get the throttle down quicker than normal, as we now head onto turn 5. Once again, easy on the traction as we come out of the corner. You may lose the rear end as we now go uphill into corners 7 and 8 as we prepare for the blind right-hander of turn 9. You have to trust your instincts on this one, as you do not see the apex or the exit of the corner until you are right on top of it. You have a little bit of a relaxing time on this straight before heavy braking once again for this hairpin of turn 11 as we go uphill once again through turns 12 and 13, as you are now using much of the cornering ability on the front left throughout this entire sector as we go through the new chicane, as we are now going to put the throttle down as gently as possible to avoid any wheel spin as we load the left front to post a 122.5, which got me P6 at that time. But moving into the standings, it was Juno who got pole position, followed by Billy Greenham and our teammate Homer. Then it was Alex, Jamie, Shizel, Ash Bandicoot, Soy Good. I'm on the 9th place, and Dildo Schwagens is closing the top 10. So here we are, we have the standings for the grid. So let's move on onto the race, shall we? Here we are once again at the circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya. It's the round 5 of the Chicane Online Racing League. It's race time. It's the Spanish Grand Prix. And today we have a new challenge for the drivers, rain presence for the first time in our league, which is going to make for an incredible race for sure. As we have a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today, as we await lights out for the 730-meter sprint to turn 1 of this 2.5-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through the 16 corners, but there's a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of turn 9. So the drivers are looking ready for today's race, so let's meet them inside the cockpits. As we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the Spanish Grand Prix, as we have a good start compared to Soy Good. He didn't lose much ground to him as we're going down into the first corner. We are catching up on Homer, who is dropping back quite a lot, as we have some retirements already from Billy Greenham, and now Ash Bandicoot for some reason as well, as we need to give space for insiders on turn 1 as we lose the backhand a little bit on the transition into turn 3, so we need to get out of the circuit following our teammates on a D route over the racetrack, as we cannot rejoin the track as cleanly as our teammate did, and we found ourselves on the gravel track on P13, so not the best of starts for us, as now I am able to defend from soft lock and retain my P13. Even though it was not long until I get my P13 challenged once again by softlock, as we are now at the end of Sector 2, beginning of Sector 3, and it dives on our inside on the hairpin. I am able to pull off the switchback on him, and as I go on the throttle faster than him, I am able to once again retain my P13, and we are still getting quite pressurized by softlock, which is going to increase his pressure onto lap 2, and as we approach turns 7 and 8, Speed Killer misses the apex completely, and we need to slow down to avoid crashing into him, but that allows Soft Lock to get on my inside at turn 9, and we'll have a good run on Speed Killer as well onto the hairpin, as we are now getting pressurized by Rogue. We are going under the brakes, and we are giving the space to Rogue, and we go off track a little bit, but I don't know why he was not expecting me to go back onto the track for some reason. But well, we are now on last place as the disconnected Chisel goes by us. But we are now in need to make some inroads of the guys in front of us, starting by Brad, who is going very slowly on turn 9, probably some puncture or something like that. And we are now gaining a position up to P14, and Chisel is up next. I don't know if he has reconnected again, but we have another yellow flag, and I believe it is the Renault of Dildo Schwagens. Yes, it is indeed, as we go from some DNF cars, and we make the move stick on the Renault driver up to P13. So we are still trying to catch up to Chisel, who I think has managed to reconnect to the lobby. And now moving on to lap 4, we are going to get dove by Dildo Schwagens on the hairpin, a very popular move from our competitors today, but once again I pull off the switchback and retain my P13. So we are now moving to lap 5, and Schwagens is still on our mirrors very closely indeed, and it's Rogue going very slowly, and we catch up to him and are able to make a move on him and climb on the ladder of the positions up to P12, as we are now going to end the lap 5 and get on the straight at the start of P7. Yellow flags once again, as the DNF cars for some reason did not disappear like they usually do. We cover the inside line for turn 1 and 2, as Dildo Schwagens is not able to overtake us. As we are now at the end of lap 7, we are going to pit as the rain has stopped, but Dildo Schwagens dives on our inside, and this is a glitch. My car, now I'm full throttle at the moment, but since we entered the pits basically side by side, the game decides to not let me go faster, so it cuts my power at the pit, whatever the pit limiter is, and I couldn't do nothing to stay as closely behind Dildo as I wanted to. As we are now getting out of the pits in P15, apparently Brad jumped us in the pits, but well, as we look back and we put our camera forward, and Brad is behind us for some reason, so there was quite a bit of a lag spike there, as we are trying to catch up to Dildo Schwagens unless he teleports closer to us due to lag. So P14 it is right now, as we now jump to lap 13, and there is another set of yellow flags, but this time out it is for our teammate Omer, and he pulls out of the way for us, as we now are in P12, and another yellow flag. This time it is for Dildo Schwagens once again. He has been having some issues with that last corner, but I don't think he has any damage on his front wing, so he's following me quite closely as we are once again on the pit straight. He's going to benefit from DRS to try to mount an overtaking attempt at me, as we cover the inside line, cover a little bit onto the middle part of the track, but all clean racing there, as Joe is going very slowly to turn 3. We have to brake to avoid him. Dildo Schwagens probably is not aware of how slow Joe was and tags me in the back, which sends him spinning, which is quite unfortunately for the Renault driver, as we are now doing a little bit of a fast forward because there is another yellow flag for Chisel. So we are now up on P9, so we are back on the points after 13 laps, as we are now in lap 18, and our tires are starting to get heavily worn, and we have some other drivers coming into the pits, Softlock one of them, and we are now behind Widescreen Jamie, who made the pit stop for the hard tires, as we jump onto lap 19, and Joe is still behind us on his medium tires. And we are still catching up to Jamie, who is on a much slower tire, even though our tires are getting quite worn out. I have the feeling I should have pitted a couple of laps ago, but nevertheless we have Jamie battling for position, I think, with some other driver. I believe it is Speed Killer. Yes, indeed, it is the Toro Rosso of the German driver, as they are going side by side through turns 11 and 12 and probably 13. Jamie getting a little bit of his tires on the grass as we now head into turn 13, and Speed Killer with a very unorthodox line through that corner as we approach the chicane, still side by side. Widescreen Jamie makes the move stick, though I'm not sure it was a legal one, as we have very worn tires. We are 75% of tire wear at the front. We are risking a puncture at the moment, so we are playing with fire, but we are trying to gain as much position as we can, as we are being very fast and very consistent with our soft tires. A soft block goes into the lefts on a right-hander for some reason. I don't know exactly what happened there, as both cars were ghosted. Maybe they were not on Speed Killer's screen, so maybe some lag involved in that incident, as we are going to get advised by Jeff to make a pit right now. I don't think we are going to open that menu, at least not anywhere sure. Well, I just got contradicted there, and we just decided to go for a pit stop, as I think we will benefit from the arrest from widescreen Jamie, and Joe is going to benefit from it as well, who is being closely followed by Dildo Schwagens. I think Dildo has managed to catch up to us, as we get dove by Joe in a very aggressive manner, and Dildo Schwagens picks up the pieces to get 2 places in one corner. A great overtaking opportunity for Dildo Schwagens, who made the most out of it. And our tires are quite short, so we are going to make a pull onto the pits, trying to get the undercut on some of the drivers around us, especially Joe, who was lagging quite hard this Grand Prix. He already had some incidents with, I believe it was Chisel. That's why he was disconnected on that first and second laps. As we are now going to pit, I didn't quite got which tire I'm going to switch onto. Oh, it is the white-walled medium tires, as we are following Dildo Schwagens, who teleported once again to behind us. So we are P10 as we get out of the pits, as we have still we have yellow flags for the DNF drivers, but Joe is going to come out behind us, which for this Grand Prix is not exactly what we wanted. Just take a look at the right mirror, pay attention to that inside line. As you can see, Joe is having some quite severe lag issues, and that are going to prove crucial to our race, as we are trying to defend the most we could from him. And at the moment we are catching up to the disconnected car of Brad, and that is going to get us DRS, which means that probably Joe won't be able to overtake us, at least not at this opportunity. But as we follow on the slipstream of Brad, we get teleported by Joe. Joe gets teleported right on top of our car, and that's race over for us, as I retired shortly after. So jumping onto the results, Juno won, followed by his teammate, so a great 1-2 finish by the Sahara Force India team. I think it is the second in a row, as we finished last place, with Omer, Softlock, El Nabo, Shady, Shizel, Schwagens and Rogue completing the top 10. Now moving to the championship standings, we have Juno, who's leading the championship after this great display of racing, and that allowed him to increase his lead to almost a race win, as the gap is 23 points to second place Speed Killer, who ended this podium finish streak by not scoring this time around, but is closely followed by Chisel with 56 points. Then in fourth we have Billy Greenham after the first DNF of this season, and that allowed Alex to cut the gap to him to only 2 points. As in sixth we have Omer B2 with 47 points, who expanded to 16 points the gap to the second Ferrari of Jamie. Then we have Soygood with 28 points after the first podium for the Sauber driver. With 27 points we have El Nabo, followed by both Ruben and Dash Bandicoot, both 9 points behind of the Portuguese. With 13 points, we have the second Red Bull of Rogue, with Softlock only 3 points behind in 13th. With single digits on their points total so far, we have Shady with 7 points in 14th, followed by Frozen Luffy, who is the sole contributor for the Ass team with 3 points. Talking of sole contributors, next we have Dildo Shragans with the first 2 points of the season for him and for Reno. He is tied for 16th with Enzin, who has not scored a point since Australia. And still to score after 5 races are Brad and Joe, who occupy 18th and 19th place respectively. Now moving to the Constructors' Championship, Force India took maximum advantage from a bad day for the Ferraris to increase their championship lead to 45 points. Closing the podium, we have a tie between the Toro Rosso and the Manor teams, as both have 65 points. Then they are followed by 5th place Williams, thanks to the great start of season for Billy, who has 53 points so far, with Mercedes sitting in 6th, 16 points behind. Then we have, with 31 points, Red Bull in 7th, and in 8th we have Sauber with 30 points so far. Then we have Haas sitting in 9th place, with only 3 points scored so far thanks to Frozen Luffy, 1 point ahead of the 2-point scorer of Dildo Shragans for the Renault. Then we have McLaren, who sit in 11th, and is the only team so far that is yet to score a point in this league. So with this closes the Spain report for the CRO Championship race at Spain. So next up is going to be the legendary Monaco. I've been practicing quite a lot for this one, so I'm expecting nothing other than a good result. So I'm hoping to see you guys there, and have a wonderful day.